It was one of those gray autumn mornings in New York City when the sky hung low like a heavy curtain, and the city seemed to move a little slower. The kind of morning that made people more focused on their coffee than on each other. Cars honked. Shoes splashed through shallow puddles. And nobody paid attention to the 12-year-old boy sitting cross-legged on a worn-out piece of cardboard beside the hospital entrance, nobody, except for the man with a limp in his stride and worry in his eyes. Dr. Richard Langston had seen better days. Once a renowned surgeon at Mount Sinai, he now walked these streets as a desperate father. His daughter, Emily, a bright and bubbly 10-year-old with golden curls and a laugh that could light up a room, had been in a terrible car accident 7 months ago. A spinal injury had taken away the use of her legs. Since then, Richard had spent every cent, exhausted every specialist, flown her to Switzerland and India, chased every whisper of a miracle. Nothing worked. He was exiting the hospital that morning, another consultation ending in disappointment, when the voice stopped him. "Sir, sir. Please wait." Richard turned, his eyes narrowing at the small boy who looked like he hadn't eaten in days. Matted hair, dirt-smudged cheeks, oversized jacket, and eyes too old for someone so young. "Spare some change?" the boy asked, voice hoarse. Richard sighed. "Not today, kid. I'm sorry." The boy looked down, nodded slowly, then glanced up again with quiet urgency. "Sir," he said, voice trembling but sure, I can make your daughter walk again." Richard froze. He turned back. "What did you just say?" The boy stood now, slight and trembling, but something in his posture shifted, a hidden dignity, a strange confidence. "I saw her in the wheelchair. The girl with the stuffed rabbit in her lap. I can help her." A flicker of irritation and sadness crossed Richard's face. "That's not something you should joke about." "I'm not joking." The boy took a step closer. "Please, just give me one chance. One. If nothing happens, I'll go away forever." Richard studied him, skinny arms, dirt under his nails, shoes with holes. Just another street kid, but there was something in his eyes. Not madness. Not cruelty. Just belief. "What's your name?" "Leo," the boy replied. "Leo, are you a magician?" The boy shook his head. "A healer?" "No, sir." "Then how, exactly, are you going to do something the world's best doctors couldn't?" Leo hesitated. "I don't know. But I know I can. I feel it." Against every rational instinct he had as a scientist, as a doctor, as a father who'd been crushed by false hope before, Richard said quietly, "All right." They returned to the pediatric recovery wing. Emily sat in her wheelchair by the window, staring outside at the leaves swirling in the wind. "Sweetheart," Richard said gently, "this is Leo. He wants to meet you." Emily looked at the boy and smiled politely. "Hi." Leo stepped forward shyly. "Hi, Emily. Do you believe in magic?" She tilted her head. "Maybe." He knelt before her, closed his eyes, and reached out his hands, not touching her legs, just hovering. The room was silent. For a minute, nothing happened. And then Emily gasped. She looked down. "Daddy, it feels warm. My legs feel warm." Richard's heart leapt. "What?" Leo stayed still, brow furrowed in focus. "Don't move yet," he whispered. A nurse peeked in. "Dr. Langston, everything all right?" Richard waved her off without looking. Emily blinked rapidly. "Daddy, I feel tingles in my toes. I haven't felt that since." "Try moving them," Leo said softly. Emily concentrated. And then, ever so slightly, her left toe wiggled. Richard dropped to his knees, eyes wide. Oh my God! Over the next hour, the impossible unfolded. With Leo still by her side, Emily flexed both feet. Then she lifted her legs, awkwardly, shakily, but on her own. By evening, she stood. The nurses cried. The doctors stood dumbfounded. And Richard, once a man grounded in science, clutched Leo like a man who'd seen a miracle. News spread like wildfire. Reporters swarmed the hospital. The Beggar healer, headlines read. Videos of Emily standing and hugging Leo went viral. Strangers donated money. Offers came pouring in from media agencies. Leo, overwhelmed, disappeared that night. But Richard couldn't let it go. He tracked down Leo 3 days later, in a church shelter miles away. The boy was curled on a cot, asleep. Richard sat beside him until he stirred. "Why'd you leave?" he asked. Leo blinked at him. "It wasn't about fame. I just wanted to help her." Richard smiled. "You did. But now the world wants to know how." Leo stared at the ceiling. "I don't know how. All my life, I could feel things. When people were hurt, I'd feel it. If I touched them, sometimes, they felt better. I never told anyone. They'd think I was crazy." "You're not crazy. You're a gift." Leo shrugged. "That's what my mother used to say." "What happened to her?" "She died last year. Cancer. I tried to help. But I was too late." Silence filled the room. Then Richard said, "Come home with us. Emily keeps asking about you. She says you're her guardian angel." Leo's eyes welled with tears. "You'd really take me in?" "Not just take you in," Richard said. "I want to give you a life. Education. Family. A chance to grow your gift." Leo bit his lip. "But I'm just a street kid." Richard placed a hand on his shoulder. "No. You're the boy who gave me my daughter back." Over the following months, Leo became part of their family. Emily adored him. The two became inseparable, her walking steadily now, and him finally laughing like a child again. But there was more. Leo's gift didn't stop with Emily. Quietly, and away from the cameras, Richard introduced Leo to children with chronic pain, elderly patients with tremors, and those with ailments unexplainable by science. Sometimes, he'd feel nothing. But other times, just enough times to make people believe, something changed. Tumors shrank. Muscles regained control. Wounds healed faster. Richard documented everything. And then one day, at a medical symposium in Boston, he presented it all. Data. Video. Patient testimony. He stood in front of hundreds of skeptical professionals. "You don't have to believe in miracles," he concluded. "But sometimes, they believe in us. And sometimes, they wear tattered shoes and offer hope when science has failed." The crowd was silent. Then, a standing ovation. Leo was offered scholarships. Invitations from universities. But he chose to stay with Richard and Emily. He said his heart told him where to go, and for now, it said, here. Years passed. Leo became a healer, a counselor, a teacher of empathy in hospitals that had once only taught facts. He studied medicine, yes, but he never lost his instinct, his gentle touch, his unwavering belief in something greater. And Emily? She ran marathons. Danced. Spoke at conferences about the boy who believed in her when no one else did. In an interview years later, a reporter asked Leo, "What made you believe you could do it?" That day, outside the hospital. He smiled. "Because," he said, "when you've been broken yourself, you start to recognize how to piece others back together."